Hello and welcome everybody out there in Twitch and D&D land to the first session of the new Embrace group. Welcome all the players and returning players alike. I hope you are all going to enjoy this world as much as I will. Before we jump into the action, as per usual, we do have a few short announcements that we always have to make. First on the list is open slots. I have to update it because, as you can see, there's no slots in this game. That kind of happened yesterday, and I just haven't had time to change that. But yeah, if you like what we are doing here and you want to support the channel, or you just want to jump in and play some D&D because you have that craving, you have to get that itch, reach out to us, let me know. I'll be more than happy to integrate you in. We're going to have more slots opening up come the new year, but I have to get everything organized with that before the end of this year happens. So yeah, we're going 6 days a week with this, everybody. It's going to be a blast. I'm super excited about this. Additionally, if you are not able to join any of our games, but you still want to participate in some of the fun and assist the game or influence it a little bit, please consider D&D Donate. D&D Donate gives you the option to give a viewer inspiration, which acts kind of like a luck point, where they get to retroactively re-roll something that they did. They're going against a heroic foe, and they need that extra little oomph, but they rolled that nat 1. Viewer inspiration allows them to negate that and re-roll it all together. No consequence. However, we have other options for you to assist them as well, or even assist me, giving some oomph to the bad guys, increasing some challenges, or throwing some random encounters at the party. Now, keep in mind, everything has to be ran through me first, but I'm more than happy to throw most things at them, as long as you are not asking for Baylor against a party of level 2 characters. We're not doing that here. That is just mean and unnecessary. However, outside of that, we have a new command that we just started using last week called Projects. I'm working on things on the side whenever I have the opportunity to, and this list is going to be expanding in the very near future. If you are interested in anything I'm working on, please reach out and let me know. Fun little thing, that one-shot module I am creating is actually based out of this world, my homebrew world, which I am expecting to have released to the DM's Guild by the end of next year. I am very excited that I've been working on this for a long time, and I'm finally in the realm of talking to artists. So, this is going to be really, really fun, and I'm looking forward to the game all in all. But, we're not sitting here to hear me jabber about all the useless crap I'm doing. We're here curious about the adventure. So, let's just jump right into it, everyone. Welcome to the world of Solemn, a magical place full of danger, chaos, and excitement. Adventurers can roam free as they see fit and cross through the three main territories of these lands. The three territories are very powerful and very diverse in what they believe in. However, they cause a perfect balance between each other. The first territory is Hopeshire, a very law-oriented and justice-focused place where the worshipping of deities and the mighty and holy nature of an individual measures exactly how worthy they are to the rest of the public. They are the overseers of protection of this realm and have control over the armies and the military force and most of the policing throughout all of Solemn. They are labeled as the good people, but their viewpoints on the world are sometimes a bit more strict than everybody else's and a bit more narrowly minded, not being able to waver their zealous persecution against certain individuals, if that is what they are really focused on. The next territory is Gravestake. They're more archonic and mystical. They believe in the creation of knowledge and power through their own wit and will, rather than relying on the ability of gods. They think all knowledge should be free-ranged and freely used for anybody smart or powerful enough to wield it properly. They seek research and development, and their main currency is information. If you have a few short stories, you have a few spells to teach somebody, or a little bit of knowledge on a lost object or artifact, they would be more than happy to trade away their lives just for that. They are not the best of people, but they are very straightforward in their pursuits, and you know where you always stand with one of them. And lastly, in the territory we are starting in, is Claimstead, a free and thriving territory where coin speaks out for anybody. Now, security is of the utmost importance to all of them, but they are a localing area that focuses on everybody helping each other in their times of need. Love thy neighbor, take care of each other, and look out for those that you grew up with, as they have done for you in the past. This is what they seek, and this is what they aspire to. Now, all of you are here for some reason, but not just anywhere in Claimstead. You found your way over to a lovely village, or city, by the name of Umbridge. Umbridge is a very small populace. However, during certain times of the year, their population grows to 3, 4, 5 times the size, as they have tourists coming into their territory to enjoy some of the festivities that they are pursuing and doing. Right now, we are experiencing the winter solstice, and it is the night before the solstice. People have traveled all around Solemn to witness a beautiful spectacular, a borealis of lights that happens from a legendary tree called the Yggdrasil. Now, all of you are inside this tavern for one reason or another, but as we all begin, we hear a very boisterous voice emanating throughout the tavern, telling the same story they've been telling for the past 5 nights to anybody whose ear is just loose enough to listen, or whose coin purse is tickling for a little opportunity to get more ale while waiting for the limited service that they have at hand. En, would you like to describe yourself, please?
Sure. En is a dark red tiefling with horns that come up and then curve back over their head. It's very difficult to tell if En is male or female. There's aspects of both, and the clothing that they wear doesn't provide any other hint either. There's long trousers with a tunic over it and a vest over that, and their long tail is whipping about excitedly as they reach the most impactful point of their story, and very animated, very lively, always talks with her hands, and always is using thaumaturgy to, of course, make things as loud as possible or to rumble the ground at intense moments. Very theatrical and very, very much standing out, because not only are they red, but they're very much in the tiefling body. They have the cloved hooves, they've got the long tail, they have very prominent horns, and unlike a lot of tieflings in the world, very proud of their heritage.
Now, this stands out because inside of Solemn, most of the, let's say, not normalized races are viewed with suspicion, if not mistrust and mistreatment. In Claimstead, however, the only mistrust is the fact that if a bugbear walks in your shop, they could actually kill you just by hitting you from 10 feet away. But coin still values, and Claimstead likes coin. There's a few individuals who are clearly not from around here who are eyeing En with suspicion, but nobody's really saying anything. Not after the couple of nights ago when Barkeep Luke had to interrupt an individual who was acting a bit too rough. And after that happened, a few people ended up jumping on them and making sure that they were quickly snuffed with all of their undesirable personality traits, let's say. However, the elf that you're currently chewing the ear off of, sitting at this table, looks very sympathetic towards you as you were telling this story. Yes, and of course everything, the rocks just rolled down the hill and landed dead into the river. Where is my drink? Are you done?
Oh, no, of course not. Why would you think the story was over?
Lovely. Seeming.
Hey, let me see if I can get Lynn for you. Lynn!
Lynn looks over at you, shouting across the bar. Yeah, En?
Hey, my buddy over here, I think he ordered a little bit ago. Just Whenever you get a chance,
Yeah,
and I speak playfully.
He and everyone else who ordered a little bit ago, you want to come back here and grab his drink for him? Feel free. And keeps going,
sure.
rolling drinks across the table, cleaning up spats, breaking up a couple of halflings that are about to get in a fight with each other. You know, very, very loud establishment. And as she comes around, starting to hand out all of the drinks to everybody else in the tavern, we come to the first person that she walks over to, Kothar, sitting in the corner by yourself. Would you like to describe yourself?
So Kothar is quite large. What cloak he is wearing over him, fairly drabby, dirty, and broken, covers a very large frame below, his snout sticking out clearly past what would cover on a normal human. What is sticking out is dark red, almost like a crimson. Some teeth glint out here and there, clearly a reptilian-like build underneath, but what you can catch glimpses are of some bandages up under, not seeming to wear any armor, but tending to keep to himself, kind of watching the area. Hasn't really been talking to anyone too much just because he's new to this area.
Lynn comes rounding about the corner, slamming a large glass cup right in front of you. All right, apple cider ale. It's your third one tonight. Are you feeling okay?
I've never had something. What is this called again?
Apple cider ale. You really never had it's apple made into cider with a shit ton of alcohol.
You think they would have come up with something like this prior? But yes, just keep bringing them.
Yes, of course. All right, just make sure you're not getting too drunk. Not sure about your status or size. As she keeps walking around the establishment, going over to your table and sliding you, what is your drink of choice?
I'd say that if there's a winter ale, that would be it.
Ooh, a frosty mint-like drink.
Yes.
With a little bit of a chilled nature to the overtop alcohol that kind of just sits at the top of it, not really fully mixed together, almost like a macchiato of different alcohol and assortment of beverages. If you're buying it, I don't care. Here you go. Slides it across the bar at you, or the table to you. And then the elf sitting next to you goes, "What is that drink? That looks... What is that?" And she just hands him a very small flute of wine. "There you go, darling." Walks away. So, as she rounds the corner, Lynn stops over by a different individual, and you recognize this individual for being here for quite a while, although I don't think you've had many conversations together. Gabriel.
Yeah, we have, yes.
Gabriel, would you like to describe yourself?
Sure. Gabriel is a 6-foot, humanish, primarily human, though if you look closely you can notice elven features to him, so he's technically half elf. He's in patched but well taken care of clothes, and the same with his chainmail, all in good condition, all of which he fills out well with a muscular frame. He has long brown hair that falls over one eye, which you can see while he has a very handsome face, one eye has a slight scar over it, and while the other eye is a dark blue, the other one has a bit of a reddish shade to it. He's just leaning against the wall, scanning everything with a shield on his back and a sword and a scabbard to his side. And if you're looking really closely, you might notice that on his right forearm there's a brand, a stylized, what looks like a stylized W in the shape of cattle horns with a small circle under it. Anyway, he's just got his arms crossed and is just scanning the crowd, paying close attention to in, making sure that she doesn't have any trouble with the guy she's talking to, but otherwise leaving her be.
Correct. So, Lynn comes over and hands you a water. Goes, nothing happening tonight?
No, just making sure that you don't have any trouble in here. Aside from those two dwarves you were separating, it seems like a pretty calm night.
If you consider this calm, I consider this as fucking hell. You know, I told Luke a while ago that we need to get ourselves some more hands in here. I can't be running this place by myself. I mean, for fuck's sake, everyone's asking for all these different drinks and food and taking all the orders. I'm one goddamn person. Like, what the hell?
About average during tourist season, at least.
Yeah. Still doesn't make it any easier on me. You know what? I'm getting a raise this year. I don't care what the fuck he says. She starts
Yes,
walking
you should.
away. Now, as she starts walking, she kind of bumps into you, Rowan, and for a split second is about to look furious that somebody got in her way, and then looks at you and goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't recognize you were there. Rowan, do you want to give us a description of what you look like?"
Sure. So Roland is taller than average. She's probably about 5'11". She has long brown hair. It's pulled back off her face, gray eyes. She's got blue paint kind of stretching down her left eye, and she wears, soft leathers for clothes with some furs, but not many. She likes, being around people, talking to people. And she's comfortable in most situations, but she's, at her most relaxed, kind of with salt of the earth, common people. So basically, if you plop her down in front of, like a fancy meal layout, she's not going to know a soup spoon from a regular spoon.
So, as Lynn kind of bumps into you and recognizes who you are, she stops and goes, I'm so sorry about that. I didn't know you were coming back to town. You're here for the event, I assume?
Yep, I'm here for the event. It's been a while since I was around, so I figured I would stop back in. You can't really miss the lights. After all, it's been a while. I missed them.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I really wish I had off tonight so I could actually enjoy it with everybody else, but no, I have to clean the place. Fucking Luke, I swear to God, I'm going to beat him with a stick one of these days.
Luke can't keep you working for that long. He's got to give you a break or two. How late you work?
Until everybody passes out or goes to their rooms.
Okay, so basically till the morning is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. Might be it. I hope something terrible happens so everybody just goes to sleep early, I'm just kidding. I don't really hope that. Do you need me to get you anything?
I will take whatever... I don't know, whatever you recommend, I'll take.
Sure, I'll go get you some whiskey. She
Perfect.
starts wandering around the bar again, talking to a few of the other random people inside of the establishment before settling on you, Cloud. Sorry it took me a while to get over here. What is it you were looking for again? She looks at her tray filled with drinks and not sure what she's doing. Cloud, please describe yourself.
So Cloud is a short, basically humanoid cat, more or less, at the backseat. Sitting in fine clothes and fine leather, she does her best to try and keep her appearance as presentable as possible while still, I guess, blending in with everybody else. Kind of lives up to the stereotype that she's as curious as a cat. She always is bugging people, asking people questions, and trying to find out more about them, sharing stories and all that.
So, as she's come approaching towards you, what was it that you ordered that she's bringing to you right now?
Yes. Sorry, darling. I ordered the fine red wine there.
Here you go. Hands you a nice little goblet full of it this time. She goes, you sure you're going to be able to afford that later tonight? You want to open up a tab now,
I'll make
or
do.
limit yourself?
Oh no, I shouldn't have too many.
All right. She looks at you a bit suspiciously, not sure of you, but you're used to this type of you're used to this type of eyeing, but I mean, they're still being nice considering some of the other people who wander this realm. Alrighty, well, if you need anything else, just be sure to let me know.
Much obliged. Thank you very much.
Of course. She comes over to here, looking at the owl sitting on the chair. Its two huge talons just clutching against the head of the chair itself, shaking her head, and looks over at you. You know, I told you, if that thing actually shits in here, I'm gonna make you clean it up with your goddamn face, right?
Yes, you've told me plenty. Thank you.
Fine. Now, what is it that you ordered?
My tea.
Earl Grey?
Yes. That was the...
She takes a very small teacup and places it on the table. I assume you want some cream and sugar.
I'll actually take it straight this time. Thank you.
No worries. Why is one of the learned here? I mean, most of the time when I see one of your make, they go to some of the higher end establishments. At that note, Solaris, why don't you describe what you look like to everybody?
Okay, so sitting at the table, kind of engulfed in a book, is Solaris, a about 6 foot elf. Very long, flowing, kind of golden blonde hair that goes down to his mid-back. Very long, pointy ears, kind of akin to the blood elves from my World of Warcraft fans. He has very pointy, long eyebrows. His eyes are a pure blue. There's no pupil, and his eyes are just pure blue all the way through. Very handsome, sleek elvish features, and he's wearing a very nice purple robe with kind of like golden gilding throughout it. That just kind of like spiral, and you can see runes and other things on it as well. But he's just kind of sitting there. He says, yes, I've had my fair share of experiences in libraries and schools, but to witness something like the Aurora, it's quite rare, so I came to study it.
And you decided to come to this shithole to be able to look at it instead of one of the other higher-end places. You must be one of those cheap bastards. I got it. It's fine. We understand. We're used to it.
I'm a bit low on funds, but it's not too bad for a place.
Oh, are you looking to make some money?
Yes.
Oh.
At the moment,
Continue.
Oh, yes. At the moment, I am.
Ah, that's good for you. And she keeps walking around the tavern. So, the evening is progressing fairly quickly, fairly well. Everybody's being kept up with as best as Lynn can by herself. Now, she's a very energetic young woman, but she definitely is struggling with the consistency of flow of traffic in this tavern. At any given point, there's 20 to 30 people in, ordering drinks, getting food, some of them getting rowdy, and eventually it starts getting to the point where she seems completely overwhelmed at what is happening. Some of you who are more attuned to this tavern and the state of these affairs start noticing it. The sweat on her brow is not easily wiped away anymore as she is running back and forth manically.
Gabe helps keep down any rowdiness.
Alrighty. Then Gabe, there's two individuals that seem to be getting into a little bit of a scuff. There's a dwarven man and a halfling man, both getting very obnoxious. You've noticed throughout the night they're getting a few too many drinks inside of them. Mostly that the halfling thinks that he can keep up with a dwarf in drinking, and that was his first mistake. And the dwarf trying to prove that the halfling couldn't and going far beyond anything else that he should have done. And in this situation, the two of them start physically pushing each other to the point where one of the stools gets knocked over. And it's happening right next to you, Kothar.
Gable walks over, puts his hands on his shoulders. Guys, what's the problem? We're just all having fun here, aren't we?
This motherfucker, he tried telling me that he was drinking good quality Dwarven ale, but he's been drinking that piss water. Piss water, I'm telling you, it's piss water. There's no way you're getting like that. Yeah, shut the fuck up, you little fucking footprints. I'll kick you across the goddamn room. You keep acting like that to me.
May I try? Gabe asks, holding his hand out to the dwarf's mug.
Dwarf looks at you and goes, yeah, whatever. Hands it over to you.
Gable gives it a sip.
This is.
What does it taste like?
It tastes strong, potent, deep. Very. It has a little bit of like a cedar undertaste to it. Very dwarven drink, indeed. And
Gable hands it back. Sorry, my gnomish friend.
halfling.
Halfling friend. That's the whole thing. Dwarves are known for their drinking skills, whereas
No. That's that kid. No, he shammed me. He said 5 gold. He shammed me. He snatches it out of your hand. All right, let me. It's piss water. Slams it on the table. Now you listen here, you little fuck. My family made that 120 years ago. That is good ale. Yeah, you shove your good ale up your fucking. And the dwarf kicks the halfling, who goes flying back about 6 inches before landing flat on his ass, knocking into your table, Kothar, and pushing your drink off of it.
Oh, alright, yeah. Alright, well, Kothar had already finished something, finished his glass, and he was in that slamming the glass into the ground, and then proclaiming, "Tavern wench, another!"
Lynn looks back at you. The fuck you just called me?
Tavern wench?
My name's Lynn. You're paying double.
Is that not? Do you all not do that anymore?
No, I'm not a wench.
No. I meant the slamming of the glass. Is that?
Oh, we don't give a fuck about that. That doesn't matter. We're used to it. Drunk spray kind of glass.
Okay.
But I don't really. And then the halfling gets back up and pulls out a dagger and is getting ready to lunge towards the dwarf in front of you.
I'm gonna just grab the little halfling
All right,
by the
make an athletics. I guess opposed athletics for the squat nimble guy.
Probably gonna beat me.
Gable is assisting.
Oh, 19.
Oh, okay. Yeah, as the halfling is like, you just grab him by the head and lift him off the ground. Just swings and misses outwards.
I apologize, Lynn. Could I have another?
The halfling's trying to like swing the blade towards you, but not getting any purchase for it. Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
Gabriel, you look over at
you'll call
Kothar,
me soon.
an individual who's been here for, I believe, a week at this point, right? Week or so?
Yeah, it's not been long.
Okay.
It's been fairly
But
short.
you haven't had any real interactions with him other than him smashing glasses onto the floor, screaming, "Can I have another?" But yeah.
Holding up the halfling, though, you do say a very large, long, fairly muscular arm, covered in scales.
Gabe, can you throw that
And
one in the
ending
gutters?
Ending 3 fingers.
Sure, Lynn. Cartha, can you hand him to me? And Gable grabs the dagger from the halfling.
All right. Give me an athletics to rip it out of his death grip. Oh,
Athletics.
he rolled really. He rolled.
See, such pressure.
Okay, yeah. As he's trying to cut out at the gnarly hand of the other individual, you just like squeeze and pinch the wrist and just drops it. You grab it, sheathing it over. it's very easy for you to manipulate this tiny little halfling who is fighting back, but it's little more than a child tantruming, and you are very used to handling a situation like this, especially in this tavern. The dwarf looks back and that's fucking.
So in Gabriel's ear, there's a little feeling of magic as In sends him a message going, "You got this, friend."
Gable says, "Sure, I got this. Just have fun with that jerk you're talking to."
Then,
Did they come through?
yes, it did.
And you just see In's face sour a little bit and then they get up and head towards the bar.
Lynn is still handing out more drinks and looks at you and goes, jeez, you know what? Hi.
So, rough night?
What does it look like?
And then In would pass her 5 silver as an extra tip.
Oh, that's really appreciative. I really like that. Thank you. Thank you very much. And, big guy looks over at you, Kothar.
Yes, tavern. Lynn.
Just Lynn. But,
Lynn. Yes.
but, thank you for your help. I appreciate it.
He was going to hurt himself more than anyone else. It's fine.
You know, cleaning the blood is always a mess, so it's still appreciated when you don't have to clean it up.
Just picking up the table, putting it back.
At that note, Cloud, Rowan, and Solaris, you all notice the scaly nature of the arm that's been hidden by Kothar this entire time. He's not very clearly reptilian, but Solaris, to you in particular, you've never met a Dragonborn before. I mean, where you come from, no. There's no way. There's a few of them that are high up in specific organizations, but that is because of their attunement to specific gods. However, you do recognize it.
He's also probably stood up now. He's about 7'2".
Big boy.
Yeah, big boy. It's fascinating.
So do either any of you do anything about this?
Setting my
Dragonborns
table
are
back
very
down.
rare.
I'm just
in
setting
this
my table back down.
He's just sitting at the table.
by himself.
Solaris kind of looks and closes his book. And he says, "Thu," holds out his arm, and the owl flies onto it.
Lands.
And then I walk over to the table where Kothar is sitting. And I say, "Pardon my bluntness, but are you a dragonborn?"
I thought elves were supposed to be keen of sense to see these things. Are you blind?
No, I just don't believe my own eyes.
What was it? The scaly skin or the large snout, the teeth?
Well, you seem to keep to yourself and hide it pretty well, but when you reached that scaly arm out, I had a pretty good idea.
Yeah, this rags really do nothing to hide it. I feel like it's kind of useless.
You should be proud. I think your species is quite fascinating. I've studied much of the Dragon King.
Really?
I have.
So you're good with history.
Somewhat.
I need someone with knowledge like that. Please sit. I'm going to take the chair that the halfling was on and pull it up for him.
Removing the high chair that was attached to it from it and moving it over. Well, it's a fantasy world. There has to be high chairs for halflings. Let's be real.
We can set it down for Thule.
Yeah.
So Thule can have something to sit on.
Kind of set it on the table, and he kind of climbs onto it.
Yep. Looking down at the scraps of food and just pecking at it to eat it. No problem.
All right, and I take a seat.
Yeah, I'll remove the cloak. Red Dragonborn.
You get quite a few weary looks from people throughout the tavern. You can definitely tell those that are from this area and those that are not. The elf that N was talking to previously is currently removing himself from the table right beside you and going across the room as far away as possible.
And looks over and goes, red, 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 yes, and starts to make their way over.
This is why I kept it on. Solaris, right? You said your name?
Solaris.
Yes, Solaris.
Close
Sorry,
enough.
Names are very.
Kothar, roll me a history
Difficult.
check, please.
Oh boy. History. 20.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Solaris is actually a slightly spiritual name, meaning one born under the sun. Also has been used in many different religious texts as to refer to someone as the revealing. And you do know something about Elven culture. They like to appreciate and give themselves ostentatious names for what they think their life pursuit may end up being. It's a very old name as well. Very old-fashioned.
So, Kotha, that is your name?
Yes. It is. Title, name, I mean, yours is similar, is it not? I'm just gonna grin, a toothy grin.
So, you said that you could potentially use my knowledge.
Yeah, up here, just like points at his head. It's hard to keep track of a lot of things. But someone who could fill me in on, what the books say about the past few hundred years or so.
So,
that could be useful.
Rowan, with your passive perception, and for clarification, Rowan is a newer player to the game. That is just how you can bring in information without really trying, being aware of your surroundings and different aspects that are happening around you. With your high passive, you've been hearing this conversation kind of in the back of your mind this entire time, and you can't help to have it pique your interest a little bit. It's just a bit odd, but kind of just stands out, even amongst this crowd of people.
Well, Rowan slams the rest of her whiskey and approaches Solaris and Kothar's and Thul's table.
So, as you come walking over, Thul kind of eyes you up and down, seeing what type of person you are, and then just flies over to the other side of the table, removing the stool openly a little bit as he goes along his way. You all see Rowan walking over to the table. Now, for those of you that have been in this town for a while, well, for anyone who's been in this town for a year, you might have seen Rowan before, but any shorter than that, no. This is a foreign person.
I approach where Thul left. Thank you. Do I know Thul?
I'm sorry?
Do I know Thul's name?
Have you been saying Thul's name openly, Solaris?
I said it once when I called him to me, but that's pretty much.
Then yes.
That's pretty much all.
She has a really high passive. Yes,
Okay.
You've heard him refer to the owl as Thul.
Well, thank you, Thul. And Rowan kind of leans against the high chair stool item.
You could make room for two of you, because I believe N is your thing. I've never seen one have hooves before.
Well, I haven't seen someone as tall as you before. So N is about 5'7", but 5'10" with the horns. So they're actually shorter than just about everyone else around the table. So they kind of like hop up onto the chair and like perch a little bit, almost in a way kind of making themselves smaller, but like taking themselves out of the height comparison situation completely.
Please sit. You both are from here? From Umbridge? Or all three of you?
I am.
I am as well.
Solaris, you come from here?
I do not. I actually hail from Hopeshire. I came to see the lights.
Hopeshire. Where is that again?
Where is that again? TM?
It's to the far south of this location, a little bit southeastern. It is also the capital of all of Salem.
Okay, yeah. It is the capital of Salem, but quite a ways south of here.
Of course I knew that. Yes. I don't know why I forgot. A few too many drinks, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah. There's quite a few.
Who are our new friends' names here?
Yes, I believe you said. I heard you say your name was N. Yes,
Yes, in E-N-I-N, just a letter, whatever you feel like.
N. Simple.
Pleasure.
And you? Kothar kind of gestures to Rowan.
I am called Rowan.
Just Rowan.
Yes, that is. I do have a surname. It's Evan Wood, but I prefer to go by just Rowan.
Ah. That's all right. Yes, I think
Continue.
you're good. You're good. I was more rambling there.
So, Rowan, Solaris. Actually, yeah, all of you except N would notice the Tabaxi individual the Tabaxi individual kind of like stepping over towards your location, just eyeing the area a bit more closely and curious about all of you.
Boo.
Sorry, I don't mean to intrude. I was just. You guys look like you were having a very interesting conversation. I couldn't help. Curiosity got the best of me.
Yes. Well, we're all giving names. I think that's about as far as the conversation has gotten. I guess you can throw yours in the mix.
Pleasure to meet you all. I am Cloud.
Hello, Cloud. Solaris was just telling us that he was in town to view the lights. Solaris, what interest do you have in the lights?
Oh, he might be gone for a second.
Yeah, they disconnected.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties. They'll be back. So, in the meantime, do you want to talk to somebody else?
Cloud, you how the Tabaxi still doing great in the trade? They always had some really good some goods. I'm surprised I don't see more around town.
Yes, I tend to more trade in non-tangible things.
Non-tangible, like information?
More or less, yes.
Perfect. Sit down. That's what we're discussing.
That's kind of why I came over.
Pull chairs up, please. We have all night before the festival actually starts.
She'll slide over Barstool because she's the shortest one of this entire group. Sitting at 5'0".
Excuse me, Thule is the shortest one in the group, but continue.
Fair enough.
So, with all
what brings you all to town? I mean, short of the locals, of course. Right, Mr. Alt?
I heard about this tree. No, I'm not from here. I've heard about the Idris tree before, and just wanted to get a good look at it up close and personal. It's quite massive. It's a beautiful sight, I hear, especially in the winter.
Yes, I heard the same. It was one of the stops I definitely had to make on my trip. I'm actually from Gravestake myself.
Grave
Or was it?
Where's...
Pronouncing that right?
No,
Yeah.
Gravestake is right. Gravestake is the name of the overlapping territory.
And Gravestake, that is to the northwest? The north? I'm trying to remember. Kothar is just kind of speaking out loud.
I need DM.
South.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
It's
I'm
south
sorry.
of where you are. If any of you need the
Sorry.
map, it is in the NPC picks for the game.
Thank you.
Yes, south.
And
Yes,
the
yes, of course.
Gravestake is wherever your city is, and probably across the realm. It's top, middle, bottom. Gravestake is squished between Claimstead and Hopeshire.
So the town's really built up. It's quite nice, actually.
Yes, they
They
painted a
start-
few buildings. They're looking very good compared to what they used to look like.
Oh, I mean, infrastructure-wise, I can't believe the things that the craftsmanship, the things they're doing now.
Yes, they really value architecture, I'm finding these days.
I just can't believe you can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome
Yeah.
back.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty, sorry about that, guys.
It's alright. Computers die.
Yes.
Rowan, are you a
Darius.
hunter? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say,
Yes.
welcome back from the bathroom.
Yes, thank you. Relieve myself.
I thought
Alright.
elves didn't go to the bathroom once, but every 100 years. Wow.
No, that's a myth.
Oh, okay. So,
Alright.
with all of you sitting around this table having a little bit of a powwow, a get together, a very strange group of individuals for sure, but I mean, everybody seems relatively good company at this point. Gabriel, we're going to jump over to you.
Okay.
You've gone out back of the tavern to take the halfling and, throw him into one of the ditches that they discern for unruly customers. It is just literally a ditch that is a small trough of water in it to sober them up. It's not terribly cold, but it's still, cold enough that snow sticks to the ground. So throwing him into that water is a huge wake-up call. And as you get back there, tossing him in... Jesus, what the... shit, did I do it again?
Yes, you did.
God damn it, Gabriel, I'm sorry.
No problem. Now, can I trust you to go home and sleep this off?
Yeah. Wait, did I miss the Borealis?
Oh, well, at least stay out of trouble and not come back to this bar.
You got it, dude. Walks over, gives you a high five.
Gable gives him a high five, and
For you, it is a low five.
well, yes, low five, and watches as the halfling walks off before he going back into the bar.
He keeps stumbling and shambling. Now, as you're out there, Gabriel, would you like to roll me a perception check, please?
Sure. Let me... Perception.
Now you are upside down.
I don't know what's happening.
That's good. That's
There
good.
we go.
That's the right side.
Alright,
Alrighty.
we'll just leave it. I'm just gonna stop touching things.
Sure. 12. As you're walking about out here, you kind of, something just, tickles the back of your neck a little bit. almost like the hairs were like breezed against it. You can't really put your finger on it.
Can I scan the area more thoroughly, or?
Well, you turn around, spinning and looking at the location, but there's nothing there.
After a moment, I shake it off and head back inside.
Alrighty. So, you have a key to the back door, as you do have your own room. Well, technically room and plus at your disposal in this location. As you start wandering through these back hallways, looking around, you do notice that quite a few of the rooms that have been rambunctious as of late are very quiet right now. And it's barely even midnight. You still have a couple of more hours before the Borealis actually strikes. It's a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't go in any rooms. I just
keep walking.
Down the hall, make sure I don't notice anything, and head back to the bar.
Roll me a perception check.
Perception. Perception.
Nothing is strange that you can see. However, at this hour, the music is starting to die down. The band that has been playing very boisterously is taking a bit of a break and sitting in the corner gathering some drinks. And around now, you can just listen to the city street. Few people are winding down for the evening, falling asleep at their tables and getting woken up by other citizens or their children who, they are very excited and they are not going to miss the Borealis. So they obviously have to wake up now. You come stumbling back in. Well, not stumbling, I apologize. You're sober. You come walking back in. And you see everybody who are the people of interest in this tavern are over at that table chit-chatting. But everyone else seems to have winded down and relaxing for the evening, so Lynn looks at you and goes, "Hey, Gabriel, take a little break. Go sit down and enjoy yourself for a minute, all right?"
Thanks again, Lynn. When you get a chance, if you ever do, can I get another glass of water?
Absolutely. You sure you don't want like apple juice or orange juice or something?
Sure, whatever you have plenty of.
Sure. Plenty of orange juice. Been mixing it all night. And she pours out a tall glass of orange juice, very thick and pulpy, and just gives it to you.
Thanks. Then walk over and put my hand on his shoulder. How's it going, guys?
Hello.
Hello.
All right. How are you?
Doing all right. Is that your familiar over there?
It is, yes. His name is Thule.
Hello.
Say hello, Thule.
Hello.
I think Thule is the most popular member of the bunch here.
Oh, by the way, I should describe him. He's actually, he's like a quite large, very dark colored, with like splotches of white, great horned owl. So he's got the little tufts that come up, and he's quite large. He's like big. So.
Gable recognizes Ronan, having been around town for a couple of years, and your name is looking to Cloud.
Pleasure to meet you. My name is Cloud. Just traveler through.
Come to see the lights.
See the lights, meet the people. Just have a good time.
Gable looks over to Kothar. And you guy? You big guy?
I think, I already introduced myself. Sorry, Kothar, yeah. His name is Gabriel.
Yes. Gabriel. General security around here, and among other things.
Among security and among other things. So I'm glad we'll be safe having you here, Gabriel. You can drink easy.
Thank you.
And raises their glass to that, like, yeah, definitely.
I'm back. Sorry
Do-
about that.
Do not drink, Gabriel. You don't want to enjoy anything?
Yes, I've been known to drink quite a bit, but I tend to avoid the drink when on duty or unless I'm just having a really bad day.
But it's a day to celebrate, and he slams the table.
Lynn bounces from a chair. Jesus, man, what the hell is wrong with you, man? That's like, fuck.
Sorry.
A couple of the
Sorry.
drunkards are. What the fuck is that?
This only happens once a year.
Yeah.
Come, Gabriel.
I'll drink to that.
She comes back over with another small glass of red wine for you, or tea, or are you ordering something else?
I would actually like a glass of red wine.
All right. Red wine looks over at you, Cloud. Red wine?
No, I still haven't finished my glass yet. But thank you very much.
No problem. But another round in general for all of you.
Kothar's just like hand signing like large beer because the little cups have not been fun to do this.
Yes.
How about you give my new friend here my drink and just kind of double up for him?
All right, fine. That'll work out. No problem. Goes in the back, brings it on out for you, hands it on over.
Lynn, there's got to be somebody that knows a story about this town.
Well, of course, there's many people that do. She looks directly at you and then walks away.
And just kind of, at this point, Anne is just kind of like stretching and just like kind of like getting warmed up. Funny enough, was it last year's solstice? And looks over at Rowan and just kind of like thinking, like trying to confirm.
Yeah, you're right.
Somebody. I don't know if they got their hands on some of the winter mushrooms or what was going on, but they were so entranced by the lights, they almost got ran over by a carriage. Didn't even see it coming. Not at all. And at the same time, they were doing it was right as things were starting, and, they were explaining what it was all about. And so right at the moment whenever everyone was supposed to be paying attention and watching the lights, we have to turn and watch this fool nearly get run over. And so everyone loses the entire evening. So people who have traveled days and weeks to watch this one particular moment, the only thing that they got was to watch someone, like I said,
Get run over.
I thought they all came to watch him get run over.
Nearly
Gabriel
losing
was- Gabriel was doing CPR for like 30 minutes.
Oh,
Oh, that's quite an interesting
Is anyone-
time.
I can't say that the class of the event has improved much from last year to this one, but it is
A
still
little better.
yeah. And takes a good look around the table and it's like, okay, you know what? I would agree. It is a little better.
it's strange. I walked around town and I noticed there's a lot less monstrous people around the area nowadays.
And looks confused and like tilts their head.
Like yourself or Cloud. Or myself.
Nowadays,
Wow.
there's more now than there's been in a generation.
Yeah, that's it. maybe overall less like statistics and stuff. I know the libraries talk about it, right? Isn't that right, Solaris?
Solaris, roll insight. I see the look on your face. Just roll it.
Thank you.
Can Dragonborn make that face? I don't know.
So 15.
Solaris, are you contesting that?
Oh,
Not
wait,
Solaris,
do I need to contest
Kothar, are you contesting that?
that? Yeah, sure, why not?
Whisper it to me. Or just roll it. It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
This individual is, I mean, he's very strange, but the way he's talking about things is with a complete foreign understanding to what's happening. And that's what's mostly odd, especially with that sequence of questions that you've been receiving.
Okay.
He's definitely somebody trying to pry information without trying to seem like he's prying it, but the information he's prying is just common information.
Okay. I take note. Do not say anything.
Already.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, it is special to be here for the Yidris tree, though. It's a very beautiful tree. Magical, I hear too, right?
Something like that.
Yes. Something like that.
I mean, snow grows and the leaves stay on it 24/7. It's pretty impressive for a tree of its size and where it lies.
Yes, it's definitely a sight you should see at least once. You'll enjoy the festival.
I have a DM question.
Yes.
So can you remind me, like, where is the tree located
It
in
is-
relation to the town?
So in the town, it is very center of it. There is a town
Okay.
square set around that tree. The entire town was built around it as the protective nature encompassing it is that location. Because of the low-end status of this tavern, well, it's nicer than most other taverns in a lot of other cities, but for this city, this is low-end. I think if any of you ever go to the boardwalk or go to the shore or something like that, you're at one of the shittier motels a few blocks away. Still okay, but it's not that nice.
Okay.
You're maybe 200 yards away.
Okay.
It's not very vast or large. Lynn comes walking back over and goes, "Oh, why don't one of you tell him the story about the tree? He seems really curious about it." Can't believe you came all the way here and you never even heard the story of the Yggdrasil.
And tells it best. Have them tell it.
Right under the bus.
Right under the carriage is more like it.
Yeah.
But so
You hear it coming by.
the tree itself, there's something about it. You know, I've traveled quite a bit, and there's nothing else like it. The tree itself puts off a warmth. I would know, like pointing to the red body that they have. There's a certain warmth that comes off of it, and it's what keeps this town from suffering as much during the winter as it should. If that makes sense.
Mm.
And it seems to come from another realm itself. That's where the lights come from. As winter reaches its height, as the cold becomes its most bitter, that's when the tree itself brings out the most magic. And that's the sight that causes the event here, is the tree protecting itself over and over again.
N, would you roll me a performance check on that?
Sure.
You seem to have captivated the attention of several of the younger kids in the tavern who have, like, their parents have been trying to keep them away from your table and you, but, like, they're so fascinated with what you're saying. They're just, like, wandering and, like, watching from afar or, like, standing on the chairs and, like, looking at you, just, like, awestruck at the story.
So with that, In's going to use... like turns around and like and sees and decides to use thaumaturgy to make sounds of people talking in the background and kind of setting the stage for the continuing of the story. You see, and then every year after that, people gather to watch these lights, and we don't know what they do. We don't know what kind of magic it is, but that's one thing we know for certain is that it is magic. And it just shows you that magic is a part of this world as it is, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And it's kind of like playing to the kids, the same way that parents play to kids about Santa. Like it's playing that kind of, it's magic. It's unknowable but fantastic kind of angle.
So, on that note, while you are giving your fairly decent performance of this spectacular and this event in particular, you hear one person from across the bar just kind of like sitting there by himself. It's been shrouded for most of the time, just very loudly laughing at your story.
Who's this?
Is it the fucking elf?
You look over. No, you look over, and what you see is a gray-haired drow who just slowly removes the hood from his head. Now, inside of Claimstead, drow are unheard of. They rarely ever leave the confines of Gravestake in their research and development into magic and other like things. However, he seems to just be laughing at your story. Really?
This kid will recognize him.
You've never seen him before. Really? Magic is free-flowing. It's so unanimous. Lovely.
And just kind of like looks like there's very much a look on their face of just like, why? Like just brushing them off and going back to the kids.
Rowan looks over at him and says, "Hey guy, why don't you come over here and just spit it out?"
Your story's a lie.
Why don't you correct the record?
What's your meaning, friend?
He looks over at you and like eyes you up for a few moments and seems to have made a decision off of you, and just while glancing over. The Borealis is an illusion. That is all. It is a projection of distraction, so other things can happen at night, during the weakest moment of the Veil. Kothar, that term stands out to you.
Mm-hmm.
However, those of you proficient in Arcana, please roll an Arcana check.
Friend, I think you're drinking a bit too much. Alright, it's supposed to be a cheery moment for the children, so maybe go back to your edgy ways in the corner.
Is Solaris the only one proficient in Arcana in the party?
Wait, how do I roll a check of anything, DM?
Oh, no problem. You open up your character sheet. Right on the character sheet section, you scroll down during the skills area. It's closer to the left, underneath saving throws. You just click the word. So that would be Arcana. Yep.
If better.
Rowan, the Veil is a term that you are not particularly familiar with, in the same use that other people who label themselves as civilized use it for. To you, the veil is a term of a protective boundary to limit the flow of magic so that everything can be more easily utilized and less destructive in nature. It is one of the forces that nature actually provides for this realm to make sure magic does not consume everything.
And this random guy is. What is he? He's saying the veil is bad?
The veil is weak, and that illusion is a distraction.
I take personal offense to that, man.
Well, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend anybody.
Why are you in town? If you dislike the veil so much.
Because I need to know what's coming through.
What or whom?
I'm sorry, both of you talked at the same time. I heard what or whom, but what did you say, Solaris?
Hey, it's go first.
Okay. To be determined. That is what I need to know.
Why tell us this? Why are you so keen on sharing this illusion?
Well, it turns out that the people I originally paid were a little shortcoming in their talents. And, as the way all of you are dressed would suggest, you are deeply in need of some redeemable quality, and coin might be that you can have.
Oh. So you need people with particular talent.
Brute force is preferred, and I've already seen that. Keen eyesight is always appreciated, and I've seen that. At minimum, those three are useful.
What do you want with the veil?
I could care less. The veil is outside my realm of understanding. What I care about is what's about to happen tonight. Do you care about that?
At that, and kind of like actually starts to pay attention. Is there something that's going to endanger anyone in this town?
Possibly.
Potentially.
You said that this is a time where the veil is at its weakest,
Correct.
and that Borealis is some kind of distraction. Well,
What are you expecting to come through?
I don't know. Something.
Has
What
it
gives you
happened
the
before?
suspicion?
Of course it has. About 20 years ago or so, there was one. 30 years
What came through
before.
then?
Just a few little methods
demons.
of a variety.
Well, if there's
Interesting.
anything coming through that can be dangerous, I'd be willing to help.
Oh.
Can Gable do an insight to see if this guy is on the up and up or is just full of it?
Please roll your insight. $13. It's no question that this individual is hiding what he says or keeping it close to his chest for one reason or another, but as for their intent, they're kind of hard to read.
So you're looking to hire. What is the job?
To go where the overlap happens. And watch.
good at watching. I'm intrigued.
If all of you will do it, I mean, I have a little bit of spare coin.
You want us to go watch, and you'll pay us to watch?
Of course. The last group of people I sent have not come back.
What do you get out of this?
Knowledge.
I understand that. Knowledge is power, especially in these times. Well, I'm in.
I'm always keen to learn something new.
I think that if something potentially dangerous might come through that veil, it makes sense for me to go.
Wonderful. Would you all like to join me out back to have a more in-depth conversation?
Yes.
If you
Try not to
distrust
be
me,
too creepy about it.
sorry, it's in my nature. But
I could tell by your crypticness.
if you are that distrusting of me, send your familiar first. Looks at Thule and starts walking, leading through the back.
Do I trust him?
I don't know.
All right.
That's your
I follow.
call.
Kothar's
I
getting
follow.
up without saying anything and grabbing his great axe and walking out.
Yeah, and follows as well.
And I mean, Gable follows and just trying, mainly interested in keeping her out of danger.
Kothar, describe to us what this great axe looks like, because it's definitely not conventional. Well, it's not standard.
It definitely looks very old and worn. Most of the stuff he's wearing is fairly old, and when I say old, I mean very old, like hundreds of years. Stuff made out of stone and old hide. Not even hide; it's more like rope tied with the stone. But the axe itself is what looks like stone dragon heads with a worked like obsidian metal almost. So it's definitely an older style. Great axe.
The door is now open for you, Cloud. So.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Oh, it's no problem.
Step out back.
It's a trap. Run away.
I saw the trap and I was like, no.
So, as all
Oh,
of you
God.
step out there, you see this individual is just standing in the middle of this little alleyway, surrounded by a few of the shrubberies and trees that overgrow from the edges of the forest line over into Umbridge itself. As he is standing there, he looks between all of you, and once the last of you comes, he twists his fingers and the door closes behind you all. Very common parlor trick.
And starts laughing because In can do that as well. So it's kind of like a, oh, I see right through you. kind of
However,
thing.
when you do it, it's very loud.
Yes.
So, my name is Garvin. I have been sent here on behest of the Council of Many.
You say Council of Many, Jiro?
Yes, I did. Kothar, to
Okay.
you, that means nothing. To everybody
No,
else,
I know. I was just asking.
To everybody else, the Council of Many are the people who oversee the protection of this realm all in all. They are the authority and the kingdom and ruling class of this civilization. All three territories have members that sit on the council. Now, if you need to see my official branding, they pull out a small wallet, which flips open, and you see a golden and platinum embedded emblem that is the symbol of the council itself. It is a massive M surrounded by this ostentatious weaving of vines and very beautiful display of different animals surrounding. Most of them are powerful or very majestic animals displaying the status of the members that sit on the council themselves. He shows it for a few moments, closes it, puts it back.
I'm satisfied.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Now, the council has reason to believe that this year, during the solstice, that the Veil is going to be the weakest it has been in some time. As such, things from the other side may try to cross over. My job is to do reconnaissance for them. Let them know if anything is coming, or if there's any problem that we need to send the Blades of Light out here to deal with. Of course, my job does not entail me losing my life, as I value that much more than I value this place. So, I tend to utilize my strongest asset, coin, to make sure that others are willing to risk their lives. Now, nothing could happen, and you just go down there and relax for the evening with nothing going wrong. Or something terrible could happen and all of you lose your lives. Of course, there are other solutions in between as well.
All right.
However, you seem keen to this circumstance. Kothar, was it?
Just kind of snorts out some smoke. Clearly not happy with this guy.
Lovely. So, as such, we do need to go over negotiations. What is it that you all want as compensation for this job?
Well, I'm always keen on knowledge. That's been covered. Coin can always help.
If I heard you right earlier, you're a little shy on coin. Everybody
I am.
else. Coin is satisfactory?
In nods.
I'd be more interested in a small favor at a later date, but if you don't think you could supply that, a coin would suffice.
Are you trying to secretly convey a message by any chance?
No, I'm just asking for a small favor sometime in the future.
That's just my little reminder to Thieves' Cant is a thing where you just weave different hidden meanings into your conversation.
Yeah.
The boys went fishing at 3 a.m.
Why the hell would they do that? It's cold as hell.
Just say that in the middle.
My favorite interactions are rogues trying to Thieves'
What?
Cant with commoners. But anyways.
I'll take a meeting if you can set one.
A meeting with whom? Cool.
I mean, you should know who Bahamut is. Should be easy to set up a meeting with him.
Bahamut?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. One of the Forgotten.
Hmm?
You are a strange one. Where did you hear that name?
He eats everybody else like this guy's an idiot.
Have I ever heard of Bahamut?
Roll me a religion check.
You're playing me for a fool, right? This is just a whole charade.
Solaris, you've heard the name in passing in some very deep religious researches. He used to be one of the commanding gods of this realm, one of the ones that saw the protection of it. However, some event that you can't remember exactly what it was caused him to lose his status, and he's referred to as a forgotten god. One of the ones that people just forgot about. No longer worship openly or publicly.
You are a curious one, Kothon.
Everyone else is looking at you dumbfounded. Like,
Whatever, when are we doing this job?
as As soon as you decide how much coin I'm giving you, 20 gold apiece.
I was gonna say 100, but
That seems a bit
25.
steep. 25 deal. So,
15 now.
roll persuasion.
10 when we complete the job.
Roll persuasion.
Okay. That's a 4.
I'm sorry, but if you all die, I'd rather my coin not go with you.
Understand.
I am a representative of the council. I'm good for my word. If nothing else. So,
I can handle this.
I suppose I have to tell you how to get there, don't I?
Would help.
Outside of the city limits, there's an old, abandoned estate, let's call it. It is referred to as DuPont Manor. Some of you may be familiar with it. And you're mildly familiar with it, although you've never been there. It's been abandoned for years. Rowan, you are also in the same boat, familiar, but never been there.
What about Gabriel?
You have not been here long enough that would be relevant to you.
2 years?
Yeah, nobody really talks about it anymore. It's abandoned. Now, some shifty individuals have found a warm spot to hold themselves during the winters, as it is just on the boundaries of the warming hug of the Yggdrasil. Hidden in the basement, there is a small passageway that you can traverse into. This passageway goes all the way underneath all of Umbridge. They used it some time ago during a tyrannical era to try evacuating people and moving them to and from under the guise and under the noses of tyrants. Use that passageway to get underneath the Yggdrasil tree. And wait.
Seems easy enough.
Sure.
Are we expecting any traps or, I guess, hidden passageways in this tunnel?
If you're wise, I would. If you're dim-witted, send one of the big ones in first. That's what I usually do.
Right.
Elf
Any
with the
other
silly coin.
Any other resistance we might expect?
The fact that my last group has not been able to get back in contact with me, despite my arcane abilities.
That is curious.
I would assume so. Though I don't know what it is.
Did you pay them up front?
Of course not.
Just curious.
About what time is it?
Right now, it's, I'd say closer to... It's past midnight, but not very much. You still have about 2 more hours before the moment of the Borealis happens, and then the Borealis strikes for a total of a minute.
Okay.
How long will it take to get there?
Depends. Looks at you, Rowan. Are you familiar with the woods?
A little.
Then not very long.
All right. Well, we don't have much time before the aurora, so I suggest we make haste.
Wondrous. The individual turns, walking back into the tavern, and shuts the door behind them again, leaving you all out here and with a small mission at hand. And at that moment, we're going to go take a break, everybody. So, players, we'll be back in 10-15 minutes. Viewers, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Yeah, it's going to be a blast. Hello, everybody. We're back. So, where last we left off, the party was just given a mysterious mission by a mysterious individual who claims to have been working for the Council of Many, the people who oversee the protection of this realm. Now, let me turn off this music. It's pretty shit. Now, as all of you sit outside of this tavern that you all just met each other at, realizing just how weird Kothar is with his questions and his understandings of anything, what would you all like to do?
Rowan turns and heads into the forest in the direction of DuPont Manor.
Fantastic. Rowan, would you like to roll me a survival check, please?
Yeah.
And bring you all over to the world map for this. Okay. In response to that, N, would you like to roll me a survival check?
Sure.
2 natural.
A little better.
All right.
I mean, for
You're both
zero,
heading
not bad.
in a direction that might be close to DuPont Manor, but neither of you have been out there. I mean, Rowan, you've come across it on accident while in the woods doing whatever it is you do in the woods. And it's never been that relevant to you since nobody's ever out there. There's no one to talk to. Why would you go there? So
It goes from city to city. You know, the in between stays on the road.
yeah,
So
yeah, it's just straight fast travel. That's all.
you're right, exactly.
Is there a main road we take, or a walk, a path?
As you're all trudging through the woods.
Yeah.
I think that Thule can help us, possibly. And I say, Thule, would you go above the canopy and keep an eye out for a manor?
All right. So Thule flies up into the air. Roll a perception check for Thule. It has advantage with its keen sense.
Yes. All right. He has his own sheet now. Let's do that.
22. As Thule flies up there, you do have a telepathic bond with it where it communicates to you, you're heading the wrong direction, and it starts flying the opposite way.
He's telling me that we're just a little bit off. We need to turn the opposite way.
I thought you guys were locals.
To the town, not to the woods.
I blame the whiskey.
I do that all the time myself. No worries.
So, as you all are following, thanks to the guidance of Thule in the proper direction, it only takes you about 15-20 minutes in total tracking through the woods. Now, the first thing you notice is as soon as you're outside of the direct limits of the city itself, the temperature drops about 10 degrees. It is much more frigid, and although some of you are feeling discomfort due to that, some other ones are feeling even better than you were before. Now, you all look at each other, starting to shiver. Kothar, you are clearly very underdressed for this situation. And so are you. You live in the city. It's not cold there.
Yeah.
However, as you are trekking through, others that have traveled from far and wide end up gathering their other more sheltering clothings and throwing it over yourselves to try to keep warm. The one thing you all do notice is Cloud. Oh, I'm sorry. Not Cloud, but Rowan, despite the fact that she's not wearing super heavy pelts or very thick clothing, seems perfectly comfortable. Not even goosebumps on the open shoulders and arms.
You not
It's
cold,
cold.
Rowan? God, fucking chilly.
You
No.
know, if we were in the middle of a desert, we would be in opposite situations right now.
Agreed. Put me in a fucking volcano right now.
But I'm
I
sorry.
don't know if there are any of
Imagine
those
what
close
that
by.
do to my hair.
Warm beaches, soft sand. Warm beaches.
It has their tail like wrapped around them, like doing any little bit that they can to try and.
I breathe a little bit of fire in my hand
Just
without using it.
Rowan takes a couple of her pelts off her shoulders, ties them around her waist to prevent from getting too hot.
Fucking God.
weird flex.
There's just a glare.
This is a very strange flex you just did there.
And Anne is like sinking down into the snow because they have the opposite of snow boots.
Oh god, yeah, that's terrible.
Oh god.
Yeah, difficult terrain sucks, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
as you all are cresting
Wish I
through
could
this
fly.
area, Rowan, you notice something. There's no wildlife out here. I mean, in the wintertime, most of the wildlife that lives inside of this forest does hibernate. However, there's nothing. You don't hear birds, you don't see woodland animals scurrying, and the winter foxes that you've grown very accustomed to are nowhere around you.
Can I like reach out to try to contact any animals that are hiding?
Do you have an ability that allows you to do? I'm trying to think. Your circle does not have that innate ability to do so. However, you might have a spell. Unfortunately, you don't have any of those spells. What you could do is roll me an active perception check to see if you can find an animal around you.
Okay.
$17, slightly better than your average. You don't really pick up on anything. However, you do see you do end up seeing a couple of track marks around here. The track marks are a bit distinct as there are 4 digits to whatever this creature is, 1 stretching downwards and 3 stretching forward. Almost like a chicken's talon, but chickens don't roam the forest this time of year. And it's not big enough to be a wild turkey. I mean, those things are huge. So it's just, it stands out as odd, but it does seem like some type of animal.
Did you
Is it
find?
headed away from the manor or towards the manor?
Away.
I would just like to note to the party that I've never seen these tracks before, and it's definitely not a giant wild turkey.
Can Gable see if he recognizes the track?
Go over to it and roll me a nature check, please.
Oh, nature. Oh. Nope, I don't recognize it at all.
You look down and you're like, that's clearly a turkey.
Well,
It's just an eerie quietness surrounding you. You hear the gust of the wind encompassing and echoing through some of the trees parting way, and every now and again a small gust of flurries go shuddering over top of you, immediately melting within 10 feet of either Kothar or N. But everyone else is getting pelted with it, and it's sticking to them very naturally.
It's getting rained on out here.
Yeah, you two are just rain. Thank you.
Gable stays close behind Inn.
So,
Rowan keeps trudging forward.
Yeah, just gonna stay behind Rowan, following.
Kothar,
Ah,
do you mind if I use you for a bit of support for a second?
it's fine. Yeah.
Solaris puts his hand on Kothar's shoulder, and as they walk, he kind of like tunes into Thule for a second.
now, you all watch as his eyes get this purple, just shadow across them. Very like innate and almost like a flicker against them as he begins focusing. And you see up about 60 to 80 feet above the tree line, looking out over this vast area, a wider perspective than you've ever had in your life, but a familiar sensation that you've utilized before in the past. Peering out at the world around you, you see up ahead, about 100 yards or so, there is the manor itself. And would you like to roll another perception check for Thule?
It's 20.
Dirty?
20. Yeah, dirty.
Dirty 20. Alrighty. As you start peering around, you see a flicker in one of the lower windows of this manor. It's a very wide set building, maybe 200 feet across and 3 stories in total, although one of the stories is halfway below ground. You imagine that's probably like the basement, but it's on that like half tilt above where the walkway brings you up to the top itself. There's a beautiful, very old, very respectful but ornate graveyard out front of this estate as well. Still fairly well kept, as if there is some type of groundskeeper here, but that seems contrary to what everybody else has been stating. You see that little flicker in one of the lower windows on the right-hand side, and as you all are approaching, you see the shade gets pulled back and then shut again, although you don't see anything inside.
Okay, I tune back in to my own body. I relay what I saw to the party. There is someone in the manor, for sure. I saw something, somewhat of a flicker, probably candlelight or some other thing. It also has a pretty decent-sized graveyard. But I didn't see much other than that. We're about 100 yards out.
Well, the elf with the piece of metal did state that there were some people, some individuals in there.
Right.
Yes, but
They are lively.
did you say they were the same character as
What was your question, Ed?
Garvin described?
I didn't really get a good look.
Said shifty.
Should we stealth in or should we knock?
I believe we should go in quietly. He did say that he was trying to talk to them before, but they weren't answering back to him.
Said it was abandoned too, and that, I mean, it's abandoned, and there's people that just kind of moved in that could.
Yeah. Crouchers.
Squatters. Crouchers.
Squatters.
Crouchers. Same thing.
They're both creepy, just squat in the corner. Get off my lawn!
Crouchers sound scarier.
Yeah. Alright, I'm creating a new type of hobo. It is when you try to murder hobo, the hobos murder back. Crouchers.
Oh.
The Crouchers.
Crouchers.
So,
Awesome.
are you all stealthing?
Yeah, should we try and do this quietly?
Alrighty.
Yeah.
I need everybody to roll me a stealth check, please. Now, for those of you new to the community, just to let you know, I take the average of the party stealth into consideration for the stealth.
Ooh.
Nice, Kothar.
Good one.
You know,
good
big
one.
guy could stealth.
Is anyone here wearing heavy armor or medium armor that causes them to have disadvantage on their stealth check?
Chainmail, I always had disadvantage.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, the average party stealth is saved by Kothar, as most of you are starting to... It's a little uncomfortable for N trying to, like, quietly sneak up on someone. It's almost like watching a goat bounce out of the snow to be able to get across the range. But every time you imprint, like, the natural heat of your skin just spreads the snow and leaves a small puddle behind you. However, Kothar is more taking a sleuthy, slither type of nature, almost encompassing his reptilian nature, but calling upon a different heritage that he is not representing more clearly. And everybody else is just slinking, sticking to different shadows, and moving closer to the edges, trying to keep an eye out. Now, as you all clear the edge of the forest line, you do make it over to a very unkept road with overgrown grass that you see over against the edges of this thick, heavy snow. It seems a little pathway has been trudged through by a large group of people or by a large person, one or the other. And as you start approaching, you see the high-set 10-foot walls that encompass what appears to be a graveyard of sorts. There's two of them. The one to the left-hand side all have very ostentatious headstones to them, very lovely, ornate in nature, and there's no snow, no debris, and nothing in this entire section. However, to the right, it has more generalized headstones all around it, and it seems to be kept up with, but not to the same degree. And you are looking at a long, winding walkway that leads up to a staircase to the front doors of DuPont Manor. You slink into the corners, sticking close to the walls as easily as you can. Luckily, Cloud, you blend into the snow with your fur color. It's very easy for you to do. And Rowan, moving through this territory is literally what you do for a living. You're used to it. Do you all just walk up? Stealthing, but...
What's our direction here? Do we have a plan?
Can we read one of the
Points
gravestones?
at Axe.
Oh, there'll be time for that.
I'm sorry, Rowan, what did you ask?
Can we read some of the gravestones?
Do you want to go over the wall and start reading them?
Maybe just like one or two.
Sure. It's a 5-foot wall, and you end up like grabbing onto the edges and pulling yourself up. It's a very easy process to slink down. Are you going to the left side or the right side?
The right side.
All right. So you go in, and when you land, you kind of sink into the snow that is in this area. The hedges, or the headstones and the plaques surrounding them are the only ones cleared out of the ways, and you start moving over, separating yourself from the rest of the party. Is anybody else doing anything?
The graveyard was prior to the stairs going up to the manor, if I'm just like getting the map.
That is correct.
Okay, alright. I guess looking back and seeing them hopping over, I kind of like point. Rowan is going into the graveyard area. Just to kind of like hold up. Probably shouldn't leave her.
Everybody else holds position?
Yeah.
Or is anybody
Holds
going
position.
Yeah, I'll hold position.
Alrighty. Then Rowan, as you start getting closer to these gravestones and you feel the frigid nature looking at the breath in front of you just bellowing and echoing against the cold, harsh winds in this area, roll me a investigation, please. The first few plaques you come across, the odd thing about them is the names embedded into them has been chiseled out deliberately. You feel against the plaque itself, and you feel the uneven grooves that are set there, meaning somebody deliberately destroyed or desecrated these sites for some reason or another. And so it's a little odd. You look at 3 or 4 of them, and there's no names. Are you going to keep looking?
Yeah, at 2 more.
All You get a couple of more, and the chisel work seems to be a little worse. And you're starting to get a few different syllables. You speak Elvish, correct?
Correct.
You do recognize the script. It is Elvish. However, other than the stray letters or two in this section, as you've now ventured about halfway into this section of the graveyard, do you want to push further to find a name?
Yeah, I do.
Alrighty. You start getting closer, and it's a very odd sensation. You feel as if there's prying eyes somewhere, just staring. And as you slink closer, sticking to the bottom of the headstones themselves, you make it over to the left-hand side. There's a plaque here. A previous name was chiseled out, but a different one was engraved into it. Seems to be after the manufacture of this headstone was originally created. The name on the plaque is Croston Cross. I typed it in Zoom for you. Not Zoom, Roll20 for you, if anybody is interested. Roll me a history check, Rowan. Croston was the second king of Solemn before the council was originally created. A long time ago, there was a falling out between the native creatures of this land and the elves that were the first ones to venture to Solemn itself. It's a very seldomly known history that most of Solemn wishes to forget about. When the elves came over here, they decided that they were going to be the more civilized race to control this territory, being the representatives from the Feywild that they are. Now, the first generations of elves tried to oppress and destroy all of the monstrous races, keeping them far away from anybody and out of reach and influence, making sure that their position on this foreign land is their own to hold. After that king was proven to be a traitor to his own kind, he was replaced by a half-elf by the name of Croston Cross. He didn't want to be king. He, in fact, never aspired to it. However, he became the most knowledgeable person in the land about his history and about the world itself. And as such, everyone looked forward to him for his heroics of saving this territory. The name seems to have been deliberately engraved into this headstone. Which is also very odd, because Croston lived in Selderon Fion in the later years of his life before expiring. That was a very good history check.
Yeah, I don't even think I have a high history score.
Not particularly, but sometimes you roll well.
Wish I rolled that on stealth.
Yeah, usually.
Okay. Rowan then creeps back to the group because I think I'm kind of out by myself, right?
Oh yeah, you're good 120 feet or so into the right-hand side of the graveyard, away from the rest of your companions.
Yeah, Rowan gets a little nervy because she's wondering if the curtain moving was a ghost, so she goes back to the group.
Good worry. So, you scurry on back over. You are muted, by the way, Sky. Yep.
Forgot about that.
It's fine.
In the meantime, while she's been doing this, can I tune back into Fool?
Sure. Where is
Okay.
Thule? Is he just circling around?
I'd say, yeah, he's probably just kind of circling
Okay.
at the moment. Can I tell him to kind of check out that window that I saw the light in and the curtain move?
Absolutely.
Is there anything happening in that window anymore? Is there a curtain covering it?
The curtain has been drawn again, but what are you telling him to do? Just watch from afar or approach? It's your familiar.
I
He will
want
listen
him-
to all commands you give him.
I want him to kind of fly a little closer.
Mhm.
And is there anywhere by that window that he can just kind of perch on top of outside and try to look in?
There's a railing. It's kind of a hooked railing on a front porch around this estate that goes around the very top section, with a very
Okay.
grand pre-foyer out front of it as well. So
Okay.
it can perch on the side or directly in front of the window if it wants.
Okay. I'd like him to just kind of fly down and perch right in front of the window.
Lands there. Roll a perception
Is
check.
there-
For Thule.
You? 22.
Not bad. As it is watching very keenly, staring at the window itself, the curtain never draws, and you're seeing through it, and you almost don't pick up on the look of a foggy breath behind the curtain. It's a very thin veil that has been put up there. It's definitely not the high status that a manor would have, but something that someone put up instead later on. The frail nature of it, you kind of see the foggy breath, and it kind of pushes against the window in one of the corners as if somebody's trying to watch out this window very secretively, quietly.
Okay. Get a little nervous for Thule, so I tell him to return.
All right.
And I tune back in to myself.
So, around this time, Rowan, you come crawling back over the wall, landing next to your companions.
There's someone watching from that window. Just a point of note.
Is there another way in? I'm assuming this is probably the only way in. It's a nice place.
Oh yeah, did Thule see any back entrances while he was just circling?
There is a rear servants entrance, probably utilized for kitchens. You would be familiar with things like that, considering your line of business. It's a smaller one. It's probably much more destroyed. However, the door is kind of on a slight hinge, offset from the hinge, so it's not exactly shutting properly, but slamming back and forth against the little doorway.
Okay. There is a back entrance if we wanted to utilize that. It's a bit in disrepair, but probably could get through.
I'm out of my element here, so whatever everyone feels is best, I'll follow.
Cloud, you seem nimble. Hide pretty well in here. Do you want to take the lead on this?
I think I can get us in.
My only opinion is kicking in the front door and just saying hello.
That is
Oh, see,
a possible route.
we shouldn't have any issue getting in the back door.
Alright. Kothar. Maybe you could.
Yeah.
Maybe you could. I don't know. Draw any attention that might be in there to the front.
Like, come out, just put up like my middle finger and just kind of let me in.
Hey, however you want to do it, my friend. Maybe the rest of us, or some of us, could go into the back. It's up to you. Or we could all just enter.
I mean, I'm totally fine with sure, split up the party. What could go wrong?
Yes.
So what are you all doing?
I guess. Well, Any input from anyone else?
I'd stay up front with Kothar if we wanted to
Okay.
split.
I'm staying with Win.
How big's the house?
The manor itself is 200 feet across, and the depth of it is about equivalent of that. It's a very large manor, definitely for somebody of high standing and status.
Yeah, being that big, I don't suggest we hit the front and back, because
Yeah. Especially
You've done
since
a-
we don't know.
You've done a job like this before, Cloud.
I won't confirm or deny doing something along these lines.
Wink. Then what do you suggest? Back.
I believe it's best for us to. Sorry, DM rolling. So, do we have some kind of cover to get around to the back without the guy?
You could cut
Spying us.
through. You could cut through the graveyard on either side and slip around the side of the building to get around back. The door or the window that the individual is watching from is on the right-hand side, overlooking the right graveyard. The servant's exit or entrance is on the left-hand side, on the back of the building. So.
Okay.
So we take the left side.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
I suggest
let's
we
stick
just
together.
stick to the left side, and
If
Oh,
the house were
get
any
us in the back
smaller,
door.
I could keep us in contact, but not at this size.
no. And if somebody gets in trouble, it'd take us some time to actually get to them to help.
So.
Yes. Sticking together in this situation, I think, is probably best.
Kothar, how tall are you again?
7'2".
Yes, I will go where Kothar goes.
You are adequate cover.
Yeah, right.
Seriously,
So.
I'm 5 foot. Isn't that like 3/4 cover for me?
Possibly, yeah. Like, I'll allow it.
We need to like scrunch.
Yeah. Right now, everyone else is squatting. He's like lying army crawl. Just.
He's also.
Yeah.
Just picture like dragons through water. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
for snow.
So, are you all cutting through the left-hand side of the graveyard?
That's my vote.
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Sure.
So, as each of you slips over the side of the wall, landing very closely against it, it's a solid stone wall as well. There's no breaks or openings in it. There's a few parts where it looks a little broken down and decrepit, some crumbling stones, but ultimately you are given adequate cover. And the first thing you all notice is the 6 to 8 inches of snow you've all been trekking through outside isn't in this place. There's a very fine coating of snow lying on this ground. Very fine, just tickling the tips of the grass itself. The headstones don't seem to have anything on them at all. And it's been snowing for the past 3 days at least. There's an eerie sensation to this location that, Rowan, you pick up on first. It's just almost like a hold of your breath is inside of this area. You can't really place your finger on it, but it's almost like a restriction of you.
Can I tell if it's arcane in nature?
Roll an Arcana check.
Seven.
It's hard to tell.
Mm.
Your fingers are too
Would a
cold.
perception check do anything?
Depends on what you were trying to perceive.
Anyone hiding nearby?
Roll a perception then. Perception usually dictates surrounding and things not right. So things out of place is usually what that will be able to gain you. 9. Kind of difficult. This is just an eerie sensation. You can't put your finger on anything more than that.
Let's keep moving.
So, now that you all separate and came
Yeah.
back together, I need another round of stealth checks.
All right, that's a little bit better.
All right. Oh, okay.
Is that worse?
Oh,
Okay, real.
Okay, Cloud. Alright.
27.
I gotta be good at something, dang it.
You, as the rest of you are like helping Gabriel over the wall with his heavy armor, just ding, ding, ding. You all turn around and Cloud is already behind like 3 headstones away from all of you, just lying against it, very like Kronk style, hiding from everybody without the audio. But anyways, you all managed to get by. Remember, it is a group stealth, so you're fine. Thank God for that 28.
Yeah.
27, but yeah. So, as you all are slinking through and walking by, Rowan, your perception does tell you one thing. None of these headstones have been edited or changed at all.
Are there names on them, or are they just blank?
Oh, all of them have names still. None of them have been chiseled away like the other side.
Can we read a couple?
If you would like to, sure.
I would.
Are you looking for the ones towards the middle, or are you going to go further back to the front, or towards the way you guys are heading?
The way we're heading.
Alrighty. Roll me a... I'll say investigation again. 16. Wow. For someone not that good at investigating.
Yeah.
All my perceptions are awful.
Hey, you take it, right? As you are walking through, there's about... You do notice one thing. The surname is consistent with all of these plaques that you are coming across. They're all DuPont. Every single one. This must be the family gravesite, but it's a bit odd. Why would a family have its gravesite in front of its home? I mean, usually you set it somewhere on your property, much more lavished out back, not the first thing everybody will see when they come up to your estate. It's just a very odd habit to have to justify in your mind. However...
I was going to ask, would I have heard anything about the DuPonts just being local and having a family that goes decently far back?
Roll me a history.
Nope. Not a clue.
I mean, the DuPont family, one thing I can tell you
They have a manor.
They do have a manor, yeah. They were nobles in this town, and something happened a while ago. A falling out between a brother and a sister. It's all you can really remember. So, the names that you collect from the headstones, Cloud, in order to help, you have to have a justifiable reason as to how you can help. That is all. Proficiency is not necessary, but like, if you have a strength 7 and you're helping with an athletics, you're not helping. It's just one of those
Hey,
things.
it's 6, okay? Get it right.
Okay. But if you're helping with anything else in general, just be able to justify how you are helping it, and you're able to grant the help action. And for those of you who are newer to the game and don't know what help action is, a help action is when somebody helps you out with something, granting you advantage on your roll. So you roll 2 d20s and take the greater of the values. It's just better for you, ultimately. But things like history checks, you have to have knowledge about what is happening to be able to help. So, the names you gain... Marine, Colin, Turfson. All DuPonts. as you are passing through, you pick up on them, and the thing that stands about Marine is it is a loving mother, is what she's labeled as, whereas everybody else has deliberate titles and ostentatious formalities. She has a very simple plaque, a loving mother. Now, for some people, that might be an insult, but with your close attunement to order and nature, there's not many more things you could really expect on a gravesite. That's a very nice thing. Now, the thing about about Colin, is that the bottom of the plaque says, his mischief was bound to get him. Which means, well, first off, the family probably had a sense of humor. And second off, this guy probably fucked up a lot. And lastly, Turfson. It is labeled the best friend a boy could ask for. And you see a little tiny doggy bone.
A real dog bone?
No, a stone one, but
Carving.
yeah. So, you all keep passing through this area until you get over to the back side of the wall, the far left-hand corner, as you can. And you notice there is there are some spikes at the top of this section of the wall, separating it from anybody easily traversing it. The outside boundaries of these are the protective nature surrounding this home itself, and as such are set with security. Climbing it will be a bit more tedious, but there's also a gate over here, rusted through age and locked shut currently. You all easily get over to this area before deciding what you have to do.
How tall is the wall?
It's only about 5 feet in total, but the spikes at the top stretch out for about another foot or so, and they're all deliberate and around the entire area, making climbing a difficult task for those that are less nimble.
How wide?
Oh, the entire outside of the wall.
Oh no, I meant like the spacing in between the spikes, I guess.
Oh, the spacing? A few inches.
Kind of like the spears on top of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can Kothar throw Cloud over?
You can certainly try.
Cloud, what are your thoughts?
How rusted are these hinges?
The hinges? Roll me an investigation. And this is Cloud, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm still learning voices. 13. The hinges are fairly rusted, but the thing you notice about them is they're slightly off axis, which means if you try opening the hinge, it's going to be noisy as hell. Now, there might be a way to nimbly not make noise while opening it, as you are very well aware.
Yeah. Sorry, but I believe if I just kind of put some of this oil that I have in my bag here on these hinges and more or less nimbly open this door, I think we should be able to get through without our big friend here, no offense or anything, kind of messing up the throw and kind of scaring us in the wrong place.
Oh, no offense taken.
There is also a chain and a
Good idea.
padlock on it.
Yeah, no, not much of a problem for a rogue.
Yeah, of course. I'm more worried about the door. The lock? No.
Yeah, the lock doesn't exist to Cloud. It's more of I don't want any creaking.
I like the idea.
So, are you going to
So,
go
yeah,
down there
I'm
and start?
Yeah, I'm gonna use one of the flasks of oil that I have, my burglar's kit, kind of try and grease up the hinges.
You all watch as a little flask is pulled out of a side compartment of the bag that none of you even realize had a side compartment on it. It looked like a standard bag, and just pours it over. It's very greasy and thick, and as it starts dripping over, you watch it. It just sits against it, draping down. And as this happens, you see that it mixes and intertwines with the mechanisms of this fence. Greasing it up a very fair bit. Give me a survival check. Cloud.
Nope.
Splash, splash, splash. It's done. So.
Be fair.
Or
Feel free to critique my work.
I mean, everybody with a positive passive notices that was not a very good job.
did you want to add a little more?
Yes, I'm sorry. The cold must be getting to my paws. I might not be as well suited for this. Anybody else think they could possibly help me out?
They could warm it up a little, like a tinder box. I don't.
I can
Warming up the
ask
oil bee
questions.
helps.
Just out of character, I'm more asking for the help action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a way to give you help.
Right.
Well,
I can cast
if
guidance.
it's to warm it up, I can hold it for a few moments and see if just my body temperature would do that.
Oh, and I heard somebody else say something.
I could cast guidance.
How do you do that? Just flavor the spell. How do you cast your magic? What does it feel like when you do it?
My hands glow like bluish, kind of like ice in the moonlight.
Alrighty. So, as the hand touches your back, Cloud, you feel that frigid nature just cause you to focus a bit more, and you have N holding the bars, trying to rub their hands against it, trying to warm it up as much as possible, which you are managing to do in some regard. Now, go ahead, make another survival check, this time with advantage, and remember you have that D4.
I think I needed all of that.
I think a 22 will do it. You watch as you just very slowly drip and like massage it in, and like have N massage it in, which heats up the oil so it really gets into all the grooves. And I mean, you've never worked with a tiefling before in your past. This is very convenient, and you can imagine many more uses for fire on demand.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might just want to hug her for the entire trip back in this cold weather. Piggyback ride.
Yeah, I'm gonna be close to her.
Yeah. Kothar and N, walking space heaters.
Them.
Sounds like my real life.
Yeah.
One very noisy space heater over here, apparently.
So, as you've completed that, you test by moving it very slightly, and other than a very faint you don't really hear anything, let alone something that'll be heard over the echoes of the winds around you.
If you shout when it does it, it's actually silent.
Cover up the
noise. So, now you have that lock problem.
Open. Yes.
Pick the lock and try to remove the chain.
Go ahead, roll a thieves' tools. Are you going to guide him again? Rowan, it is free to cast whenever you would like. It just costs you an action.
Yeah, I will. I'll
Fantastic.
cast guidance again.
Unfortunately, I don't think anybody else in this party has a skill set that could actually assist in thieves' tools. At least for this. Ooh, 13.
Great luck.
As you start moving through the mechanism, grabbing onto different aspects of it and tweaking through, it's being a very long process, and everybody else is kind of like waiting impatiently to patiently. It ranges with this group of individuals as 2-3 minutes go by of you trying. Oh, wait, nope, that's ice. All right, yep, that is also ice. That is also ice. All right, get the ice out, go back in. But eventually you end up, click, unlocking it. It wasn't a terribly complicated lock.
All right.
Terribly sorry for the delay. Right this way, folks.
You pull the chain out very easily and lift up slightly on the fence while squatting and moving backwards, and not an audible enough noise that would cause any concern for any of you. Now, as you exit this side of the fence, you look around at the stonework before you that lays in front of the manor, and you quickly move against the actual balcony itself. Where you are standing, you know that the basement is just within reach of you, but there's a thick stone wall separating you from it. And as you start cressing around the side of the building, looking up, it's a very magnificent, and now that you are this close, beautiful building. Very old, deep oaken wood that they used to construct it. Not the pine wood that is very familiar to people in this territory, which means whoever built this had a lot of money and imported the wood. As you continue through this side of the building, you do see that there are several windows ranging from the upper building to this side, as well as what appears to be an attic on this side that you can barely make out. You all keep going around?
Yeah, I do.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
You venture around to the back side of this building, where you see that there is a little door, and you hear it before you see it, that just keeps slamming against the side of the door frame itself, off kilter and not properly shut. The very consistent thwacking against wood.
Is it pretty windy?
It's very windy.
Okay.
How wide does this door open up when it's like slamming back and forth?
About a foot at most.
Well, if we line up, I can keep that rhythm going, and we can go in one at a time, so it doesn't sound like anything's off.
Yeah, that was my
That's
concern
idea.
as well.
Why is it slamming?
The wind.
Is it consistent or more erratic?
It's fairly consistent, but it is consistent with the wind.
Hmm.
It doesn't sound like there's an angry child just slamming the door over and over again. It is an angry wind slamming the door over and over again. Do you guys want to try that?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
That's
Yeah.
good as plain as any.
Thanks for constructing a skill challenge for me. Who's going first?
Cloud, of course.
Cloud. Okay. You move up closer to the door, having to walk up a few short stairs that are very creaky under your feet and very, very weakened wood as the door is slamming over and over. And you sit there, waiting patiently. Now, you have an innate understanding of your thaumaturgy spell. That's not going to be the skill challenge.
Mm-hmm.
What the skill is going to be is a dex or an acrobatics check to dive through quickly before the door slams on your ankle.
That's why the rogue went first.
Yep.
Wait a second. If you could just produce the sound, I could hold the door open with Mage Hand.
That's another option.
God, you are smart.
You say as Cloud's like getting ready, like, okay.
He's like,
1, 2, 3. Wait, what was that?
I'm glad we have someone with a high intelligence score, because Int does not.
Did we want to try that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Now, this is a different use of that spell. And do a performance check for me.
All right.
I will allow you to add your proficiency bonus if you are not already proficient.
Okay.
And then I cast Mage Hand. So,
Yes. That's easy enough. Hand, door.
yeah. See a little spectral hand.
Wizard always taking the easy way out.
So proficiency, that would make
A little
10.
lazy.
Okay. You're causing the same rhythm, but you end up getting your own like rhythm in your head. You're like, oh, this is a good beat. Everyone else is like, it's a little off, but it still is passable unless somebody was paying close attention.
Okay.
So the door is being held open by the mage hand.
After you, I say to Cloud.
Oh, that's kind of anticlimactic. So I was like, she was pouch ready to go in.
So
Picks herself up, dust down her shirt, and just, well, let's go.
So you start venturing in, walking through the very creaky floorboards and moving at a very slow pace as you do so. It's a thin hallway, only about 3.5 feet across, and the ceiling itself is about 10 feet above you, but that seems to be the make of the manor itself, not the make of the convenience for the servants in this area. As you are moving through, you do notice several very old looking crates, mostly broken and deconstructed in nature, with stray hay thrown about wildly in this area. And as you come approaching towards that hallway, you see a slight shifting in the hay pile.
Shh.
Oh, this
What
is
was that?
just Cloud.
Oh, sorry.
Cloud's the first
Oh
one
yeah,
in.
he just entered. Yeah,
She.
she.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're new. We're learning.
Yeah.
It's the effort that matters.
So I saw shifting in. Sorry, I kind of missed that last part. Shifting in what?
In the stray hay that seems to have been ripped out of some of these crates. Like package hay for crates and stuff.
Can I see what it is from where I'm at?
From where you're at, roll me a perception check. Do you have dark vision?
Yes, I do.
All right, straight perception check. Initially, your heart leaps in your chest as you see this, and you get ready for any type of action, moving to that familiar blade on your side that you keep hidden away, just in case you need it. However, you quickly relax as you notice a larger-than-average rat scurrying away. High perception rolls.
So, somebody better stop the cat before she starts chasing it. Kidding, that was out of character.
You all hear a... What? So,
Alright.
And kind of like bobs their head, like, come on, let's keep things going.
Yeah, I'll go in behind. I'll go behind. Sorry.
it's no problem. Kothar, go ahead.
Yeah, I go in.
Alrighty. You end up walking up the same doorway and stepping inside, and as you get up there, a very tight hallway for you. You're kind of like stuck sideways. You are wider than this hallway, very easily wider. So like you're like doing the sideways shuffle behind Cloud, who like could honestly like scale the walls up and down freely.
Just really quickly, at like right after Kothar entered, I'm gonna kind of just like slam the door a little sporadically, just to kind of, make it seem like it's very by the way.
Got you.
Okay.
N.
Just quick note.
He threw off your groove.
Just kind of like glaring as I'm still using the verbal components, just like trying here, man.
I'm just trying to keep up.
Now I'm trying to
Sorry.
imagine what type of rhythm that N would have produced, because like I keep thinking in my head like hooga chaka, hooga 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 chaka. Just
That's probably pretty close, considering. Yeah. Just kind of like bouncing along to like their own music
Dubstep?
there.
All right.
Just
So, does everybody else go inside as well? One after another?
Sure.
Very easy thanks
Yeah.
to the assistance of magic. Magic is so fun. You all venture down this same very tight corridor, and Gabriel, you're kind of stuck in the same manner that Kothar is in. It's a tight squeeze for you as well. You're not that big, but you're a very sturdy, broad, strong individual, so you end up having to, like, shuffle sideways a little bit. You're not at a full sideways tilt, but you're on a partially sideways, just moving through. Now, as you all start rounding about, Rowan, it strikes you first, and then it cascades down to everybody else in time. You all smell the roasting of meat over a fire. And you hear the crackling of embers set inside of this home.
Can I tell what kind of meat it is that they're cooking?
Good call. Roll a nature check. What did you get?
10.
10. Something gamey, fatty. That's about all you can really put the finger to.
Long pig.
Unfortunately, you are not. You're not terribly adept at the different flavors and fragrances that meats produce. I mean, meat's good, but to a degree. You're not a connoisseur.
Yeah.
Apparently. So,
I'm more like my wine.
but
Do we hear people or just the normal sounds of like what would show people being there?
the normal sounds of what would show people being there.
Gotcha.
Well,
We need to find this basement.
you need
Can you
get
force?
past this.
I don't. You said the basement was in relation to where we were. It was on the other side of that stone wall when we were going on the left side. It was right before we turned right, and then we saw the door. So
The
Can we,
basement
like,
is
try and-
under the building. That's what I was referring to. The entrance to it
Oh.
is somewhere in the manor.
okay, sorry. I thought you had said it was like in between us and this wall. So I was like, okay.
No.
Spatially.
Hmm.
Cloud, can you see anything? See anyone?
And is this
Oh.
the only way through is through this room?
From your current perspective, yes. There was also the front entrance, but for the back area, you smell it up ahead. You don't know how far away it is, but you do smell it, and it's close by. Not terribly far.
Can we do a perception check to see if anyone's in that room?
If you would like, go for it.
Yeah, I'd like to. Can I see? Can I try and determine like how many people might be in this
Survival. then.
area?
So I need a perception check and a survival check then. Solaris, I mean,
Cool.
you're not really picking up on very much out there. I mean, by the smell of the fragrance, somebody,
Yeah.
but you don't have any other hints. And you know you saw the one person, but other than that, nothing.
Okay.
25 perception check. You
Jeez,
all sit
yes.
there for a few moments as Rowan sits and contemplates and feels out the room ahead of you. You hear different sets of breathing. One consistent, but strong, almost as if it is of a larger make of individual that needs a deeper breath to bring it in and exhale it. The second one is much more quick, but is on a repetitive motion, which would suggest someone almost like a predator ready to pounce and kill. It's a controlled breath, but it's very quick in nature. Somebody amping their body up, aware of what's happening. But that's on the other side of the room, much further from you. And then there's a third one, shaky in nature. Insecure, scared.
Okay. This is what I figured out. There's A really big individual, B, a probably tiny but very aggressive individual, and someone who's really scared. 3 people. That's what I perceive.
Well,
We all just walk out there. There's more of us than them.
could be more, but yes, I don't know if we'll be able to sneak to the basement. I don't even know where it is. Maybe we should ask them.
So we should go in. Maybe they have food cooking. It would be unkind of us to not introduce ourselves.
And you could go in first and charm them.
I have considerable social graces, but walking to someone's home uninvited may not necessarily allow for that. But
You all hear a large bowing of wood, as if it's being strained with something on top of it, followed by a loud Gonti. What? Are they still out there? I don't know. Alright, pretty man. You told me there was no one else coming. Do you want to explain this? I told you the truth. There is no one. Whoever that is, they have nothing to do with any of this. Just please, just remain calm. Sure. Nothing. You hear the large footsteps kind of shaking the floorboards as they are moving across. And with your previous perception, Rowan, that is a big motherfucker.
Bigger than our motherfucker?
Yeah.
Damn.
Because it's creaking and making that noise while trying to tiptoe.
well, I think we know what happened to the other group.
Possibly.
Who's in the lead again?
I am.
Cloud.
I think it's and then I'm replying Cloud.
Cloud, you hear a voice in your head. Hello? Shit. If you're in this direction, please reply.
Hello.
Hello? Oh my god. Are you... Who sent you? Who are you? Please stay out of sight of these people. They are serious.
Who exactly are they?
I don't know. Squatters of some kind of religious fanatics. Some filthy orc and a wiry looking little thing.
Orc and a goblin?
No, it's not a goblin. I know what those things are. I don't know what this is. It almost looks like a halfling, but bigger nose. But where are you? Who sent you?
Not important right now. Say if there was 6 of us, how big of a trouble would it be?
I don't know. Are you all adept fighters trained in the martial wars of this land?
Let's say yes.
If all of you were adept fighters, then not a problem at all. But if you're all just commoners looking for shelter, Run and go get help, please.
Cloud, who are you talking to?
I think it's actually in my head that I'm talking
is
to him,
it?
right?
Yeah, yeah, it's all telepathic.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Great
gotcha.
cantrip.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. So yeah, look back to the party. Okay, looks like we have an orc and halfling with a big nose, whatever the hell that means.
Gnome.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but I don't know. It shouldn't be too hard to figure out. I don't think it'll take us too much trouble to more or less handle these ruffians. Anyone care to join?
What about
How
the third?
big is the orc?
You hear the floors creaking again as they move back and
I need to dust off these bones. He's
I'm not
gonna
thinking
stand
about
up,
it.
Cloud, how did you learn?
start
this?
walking. Out.
Oh, the scared man probably from the earlier party tried to send me a message.
Kothar, you said you're walking out?
Yeah.
Alrighty. You watch as you're conveying this, Kothar just moves past you, walks around the corner, holding his big
I
axe.
cast mage armor.
Kothar, you round the corner, and you see a fairly small room. It appears to be an old bar of sorts. The bar itself is still overhanging, where you see a wiry person sitting on the very far corner of it, like looking around suspiciously at the area, as well as this hulking, very fat orc. It's like you would combine a fat dwarf and an orc together. It's that type of size and just nature, and it's huge for an orc. Followed by someone who's tied up, hog-tied, and, well, the gag is currently off of his lips. In the corner, an elven individual just, like, staring at you. And as you walk around the corner, the orc looks over and goes, "Hey, what's up?"
I smelled some meat cooking.
"Yeah, we got meat. You need
Yeah?
milk? You want some meat?
Yeah, it's really cold out.
Oh, yeah, come sit down."
Sit down with me.
You go walking over and sit down. "Here, were you the guy creeping around the yard?"
Does it look like I could creep around?
"I mean,
Yeah, I would give. Like, you were huge,
yeah.
but I mean, I'm a big guy.
The little one looks and goes, "That might have been the red thing." You look over, and it's a very, like, pale-faced gnome with, like, pulled-back tight skin, but, like, these dark blackened rings around its eyes. You understand the wiry concept. Yeah. Well, apparently some people are fucking around out front of my house, so, you know, if any of these normies walk out here, help us kill them, you know, no problem.
As Kothar
I mean-
is kind of... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
I was gonna say, as he's kind of distracting them, I pull out my copper wire from my pouch,
Okay.
and I aim it in the direction of the guy that was talking to Cloud
Okay.
into the room.
Yeah.
And I say, "We are friends. Do not worry. But we need to find the basement. We can help you, but you need to help us."
Alright, you get a reply. The basement, it's 2 doors down, right past the wolf head. Why do you need the basement? Wait! Were you sent by the council as well?
Yes. Were you from the other group?
Yes, I am all that remains of them now. Thank all that is right in this world. They sent us that. We needed strong green. What the fuck is this Dragonborn doing here? Is he from the elite
He's,
task force?
He's one of us, but he is doing a great job at being a distraction right now.
I would say so. We really lucked out. All the monstrous people always like each other.
And that's when we ripped both of their arms off.
Oh.
Ugh.
Elves, so fragile, right? Looks over at the elf on the floor.
Like made of glass. Who makes things you drink out of glass? You break them so easily when you throw them on the ground.
Are you all trying to sneak past Kothar?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of like
Yeah.
wave
Oh, yeah.
quietly to the rest of the group.
Everyone else
Yeah.
stealth.
As we're doing this, since there is a fire there, I can also use thaumaturgy to dim it. So the idea being that I'll dim it so that the gnome will try to like tend to it to distract them.
Nice. So as the fire embers down very slightly, the gnome looks and goes, "Big man, fix." Yeah. You hear a very loud. For you, Kothar, he just ripped off one of the legs in a very old, very ornate couch, and just tosses it into the fire.
Like a toothpick.
Yeah. I'd say
I'm
like
more
a
upset that he
ruler.
broke that couch.
She's not
Okay,
that
okay.
strong.
Okay.
Actually, that didn't. Do you have any kindling on you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah,
I do.
bring it over. Everyone else, roll
Yeah,
your
I
stealth
get-
checks to get on past.
So I just take my bag off me. Get my tinderbox out.
Nice. 22, 10, 12. Oof. 21. We're missing one more.
Gabriel, it's
5.
the fire.
I like really focus and I see Gabriel starting to come around like, "Ugh."
Do you know the story of a dragon's fire? I'm going into deep conversation.
yes. Oh, they're distracted, so their active perception is at disadvantage. Alrighty. Wait, that one's cocked. Alright, that's better. So as you're having this conversation, these are, "Oh yeah, dragon's fire. I heard of that one time. That's the thing that burnt my cousin." Dumbass. You tried fighting a fucking dragon.
Who would do that?
Dumbass.
Only what?
His name's Dumbass.
That's a fine name.
That's what I thought too.
What's yours?
Mine? A
Yeah.
Gun.
Gun.
Yeah. Little
Oh.
man named me. Points over at the gnome. Yeah. Gun.
Probably because of those cannons right there. Points at his arm.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
However, everybody else very quietly steps on through. Gabriel, as you're trying to like smoothly step through, you get your chainmail caught on like the very edge of a tapestry, and it pulls the tapestry, which ting and poop. But as like they're about to get distracted by this, the fire just, God damn it, just picks up a pillow and throws it on the fire. You all narrowly make it out. Their perception was 12. Disadvantage.
Kothar gets a tingling of magic in his ear that kind of feels like a tiny gust of wind. And it says, "Grab the guy if you can."
I talked to
You know-
Is it drafty in here?
Well, yeah, the fire went out. So cold came in probably.
Did you open the front door?
No, I would hear the front door open. I put all the cans in front of it.
You put cans in front of it.
Yeah.
What if the wind knocked it down? He just mentioned a breeze.
Well, if the wind knocked the front, that's a big door.
No, the cans all fell down.
Wait, where'd you come from?
Trap. Well, the back door.
There's a back door?
Yeah, it's wide open.
I told you it was a door.
I thought it was a ghost. I didn't want to go look for a ghost. That'd be stupid.
It's a creepy house, you know?
Well, I think it's nice.
Oh, it's a little bit of dusting, some vintage work in here from, 400 or 500 years prior to now. They had great work then. Really, honestly, great fabrication. But yeah,
everyone else as you've been walking down this hallway. It's very quiet, and the rugs are cushioning your footfalls very well, so you're all sticking to it. It's branched out much wider, as this appears to be a hallway that leads to your right currently, which is a dining hall, and directly ahead of you appears to be some other offshoot area. So based off of what you were all previously given information-wise, you keep moving forward, and when you round that corner, you see that there is a large placard lying flat against a table. On the plaque appears to be a giant's wolf head. Just sideways view of it, echoing outwards. Very beautiful marble and cuts into it for presentation.
I say to N, I say, this is the mark said past the wolf's head. I'm gonna make sure that Kothar doesn't get into too much trouble. You have the ability to message, so we can talk to each other if anything wrong happens. Yes?
Yes, and if we reach a barrier of some sort, we'll wait until you rejoin us.
Okay.
So,
I peel back towards Kothar.
who at this plaque has an affinity for nature, or a strong appreciation for it, or study of it?
Rowan.
Yes. Just Rowan. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well then, Rowan, please... Actually, no. There's no role necessary. This is something you would understand, as this is your home and territory. The symbolic nature of the wolf, although to many individuals they think of it as a alpha, a predator, a strong, a power, the real symbolic nature of the wolf is supposed to be the protector, the safeguard, the ever-watching eyes over a family. That is what they always do. That is how they function. They are packed creatures that look out for each other. And the sideways panel view of this creature would suggest that whoever placed this here understood that. The predator wolf always has the teeth accented much more gnarly. This is not an accent of teeth, but a vigilant look. Now, as you look around this area, other than the table and the placard, there's another side table with a cracked, broken vase with long since decayed flowers out of it, no longer in use or accessible. You look around, and you're all in a corner room, but there doesn't appear to be anything else around.
You said it was the second door on the right, correct?
He did say that, yes.
No doors to be spoken of.
None to be seen.
Are there any like floor trap opening?
Would you like to investigate?
Sure.
Go right ahead and investigate.
Yeah, I'll be helping with that.
All right, you have advantage with that then.
Cool.
12. You start looking at the floorboards and like getting close and looking down flesh with it. There's a few deviating sections of it where it's like slightly off center, but none that would suggest that anything other than time and wear and tear would cause them to be there. At least on your first glance of this surrounding.
Could I use my my insight to kind of think like, all right, if I were the DuPonts, you know, what would I do? Would it be a hidden door? Would it be, you know, a candlestick? What, you know, that sort of thing.
Sure. That's creative, sure. Insight them. Insight a long since dead family. I like this. 15. Now, The family was loyal to themselves, not to the town of Umbridge. However, one person in the family wanted to make Umbridge better for everybody who lived there. And that was the daughter, Savannah. The last rulers of the estate themselves. Now, the interesting thing is everyone in that family was blindly loyal to themselves. They didn't care about the well-being of anybody else. They didn't care about anyone else, but they always had each other's back through thick and thin. No matter what happened, anyone who wore the DuPont name was safe with them. As such, they probably would have done something that only somebody that blindly loyal would think of.
Is there a crest? Anything like that?
Other than the wolf?
Other than the wolf?
No.
Can we kind of examine the wolf?
Would you like to?
Yeah.
Roll an investigation, please.
Guidance. Can I cast a guide?
You absolutely can. Ooh, Cloud, roll that Thank you.
That might get me there.
So, for the sake of roleplay, as you are thinking these things in your head and you're audibly saying it just underneath your breath, loud enough that everyone else around you can kind of hear it. And as that's happening, and you feel the guidance come across you, the focus of your attention on this object, you also hear Rowan speak of the wolf being symbolic to that level of loyalty. That is what they are known for. They protect. So, you look at the crest, you look at the table, you get underneath the table, and you see that there's a small mechanism up underneath the crest, hidden away out of the view of everybody else. Your keen sight in darkness allowing you to see this. However, as you try reaching up, you see that there's a few different kinks, but there's nothing to hold on to without damaging your fingers. So you go back up to the top of it, and you feel around the top of the crest until you get to the wolf's mouth, and there's a little pressure that you apply to it, and the pressure pushes in, and you watch as the crest itself closes the jaws around your fingers. What do you do?
Push deeper.
You keep pushing, and at this point you feel the fangs shooting from this crest digging into you. You suffer 3 points of piercing damage as this happens. However, as you get to that pressure, you watch as the top section of the head lifts up. You withdraw your hand, relinquishing and letting a little bit of blood drip out from it, shaking it off. Grab the side of the head, twisting it around counterclockwise, and you watch as the wall right beside you slowly shifts and opens.
Well,
I don't think they come down here often. That kind of hurt.
As you get the door completely open, and you were just traveling back to get Kothar, you all hear a very loud as the door gets jammed from a long time of not being used or fixed. Immediately, the attention of the two individuals in front of you, Kothar, snap in that direction, and they are reaching for weapons ready to fight. And that's where we're going to pick up again next week. So, players, thank you very much for playing. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Anybody out there watching, I hope you enjoyed it as well. Be sure to come back and tune in again next time for the next session. It was a lot of fun. Hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll be going. Goodbye.